What is up, everyone? It's Spooky Loops, and I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Alright, here are the facts. I have about 2,500 hours played in Dead by Daylight, and the majority of those hours are played as a rank 1 killer. Now, before I go any further, I'll be the first to tell you that I'm not the greatest killer to ever touch this game, but I will say that the majority of my games I usually win. What is considered a win is kind of debatable for some, but for me, it's usually 12 hooks or a 3k and the survivor just finds the hatch. Anyways, back to my main point. I win the majority of my games because I'm able to take advantage of survivor mistakes. So for today's video, I'll be going over some techniques to not only minimize your mistakes, but to ultimately keep you alive longer. Let's get into it. Killers aren't the only ones that can create pressure. Survivors can do that too by simply spreading out and working on generators. This is called gen pressure and plays a vital role in your team's success. Whenever you spawn into a trial, it's safe to say there'll probably be some gens around. One of the most common mistakes that I see, especially in new survivors, are generators start getting completed in close proximity to each other solely because they're nearby and easiest to find. When in reality, all you're doing is compressing your play area for the rest of the game, which makes the killer's job that much easier. Here, let me give you an example. This is the map Coal Tower. On this map, there's a main building and a shack, and your team spawns on the south side. The killer isn't around yet, so your team jumps on the nearest generator, and you jump on another one nearby. The survivor gets into a chase with the killer and starts moving towards the main building. Both of your generators are completed, and your team moves towards another. Fast forward a few moments, and your play area starts to look like this. Because you and your team failed to split pressure, you've locked yourself into a 3-gen situation, and now the killer only has a fraction of the map to patrol. That's not good. So here's our first tip of the video. When you spawn in, pay attention to what generators your teammates are working on, and start planning for the late game. Take the time to move to the opposite side of the map to start working on a generator yourself. The goal in applying gen pressure is to knock out the possibility of giving the killer an easy patrol in the critical moments. When there's only one generator remaining and your team has split gen pressure across the entire map, it's going to create a difficult task for the killer to try to juggle all of them at the same time. By planning ahead and following this mentality, you'll find yourself becoming more successful in the end, which means more escapes. If you're a new player to Dead by Daylight, it's going to take you a little bit of time to get familiar with the maps. But one thing you can instantly start improving on is getting to know your surroundings. Since working on a generator isn't the most exciting thing in the world, make use of your time by planning ahead on where you'll go next if the killer starts coming your way. It's called having an exit strategy. I can't tell you how many times I've hit a survivor on a generator and then they just started running out into a dead zone and had nothing there to protect them. Pay attention to where windows are located, if the pallet has been destroyed or not, and which other structures or resources you can string together if you ever overstayed your welcome. By being familiar with your environment and having a specific route in mind, when the chase begins will ultimately give you the upper hand when it comes to running the killer. And knowledge is power. Speaking of running, almost every single killer in this game is faster than you, and as a survivor, resources are sometimes your only means of staying alive. So stop wasting them. One of the biggest mistakes I see when I play killers when a survivor is not using resources to their advantage. Here's something to keep in mind. Dead by Daylight is all about which side can manage time better. The more of the killer's time you waste, the easier it's going to be for your team to get the job done. A great way to burn the killer's time is to maximize your chase durations and by using resources efficiently. Remember, you have 2 health states, healthy and injured. When a chase starts while you're healthy, remember the route you're going to take that you planned for earlier. Try to keep the structure between you and the killer for as long as possible. If the structure you're in has a pallet available, keep it up. Once the killer closes distance and hits you, you'll be given a temporary boost of speed, and the killer will undergo what is called a wipe animation. Use this opportunity to move to the next available resource. Create more distance. Remember, since we kept the pallet up, we now know that we have that as our last line of defense in that area. By stringing together nearby structures, using the speed boost when attacked, and saving pallets for emergencies only will maximize your chase time, which means more gens done. I hope so. Now, there are some situations that are different and require a little tweaking to your strategy. My general rule of thumb is you should only be using pallets if you're injured, and if it's a difference between staying alive or going down. Staying observant to your surroundings shouldn't only be while working on a generator. While in chase, keep an eye out for new structures, and try your best to not lead your chase to your teammates. It's very easy for a new player to drop pallets prematurely under pressure, and you never know if you or your teammates may need that resource for later. So remember, only use them if you absolutely have to, because once they're gone, they're gone. Now I know that in the majority of this video we've been talking about ways to keep you alive longer and to play more efficiently. This doesn't mean your teammates get left out to dry. Your teammates are equally as important as you are, and the more teammates that are alive increases your odds of survival. The user interface does a really good job at providing you with useful information to what is going on with your team. Pay attention to who's injured, how many times have my teammates been hooked, where did they get hooked, and so on and so on. By using the information available to you will help guide you into making better decisions. If you notice another one of your teammates was just injured or went down, it's a good indicator that the killer is going to keep their attention on them, giving you time to go for a rescue or for a heal. This is called game awareness and is ultimately something you'll learn as you keep playing, but in the meantime, the user interface is a great tool to give you an idea of what's going on around you. When a teammate gets hooked, keep in mind that it takes 60 seconds for that survivor to go into struggle phase. Make note of where the hooked teammate is and how far away you are from a rescue. A very common issue that happens is when new players overestimate how much time they actually have left to save a teammate. A generator, a chest, or a heal should never take priority over a teammate's hook stage. If you notice your teammate has not been rescued and their timer is getting close to expiring, it's in your best interest to drop whatever you're doing and go for a save. Take into account your distance from the hook and how long it'll take for you to get there, assuming the killer isn't in the area. What if the killer is in the area? Obviously, getting a safe rescue is ideal, but more often than not, that isn't always the case. Do not be afraid to save your teammate and get hooked yourself. This is called hook trading and is a part of the game. There's a reason why you have 3 hook stages. This allows your team to reset and re-strategize their approach. Like I mentioned earlier, the more of your team that is alive, the easier it will be to get the objective done. So let's face it, it's a lot smoother getting 5 gens done with 4 people than it is 3. That, my friends, is fact. So there you have it. We've discussed your early game strategy, how to manage your environment, and ways to become more observant throughout your trial. Now, a little disclaimer here. Not all games are going to go the same. There are a lot of contributing factors to this, such as map RNG, teammates, killer playstyle, etc. But by using these techniques will ultimately make you a better survivor and a better teammate. Remember what the goal of the game is. Play smart and stay alive. If you made it to this part of the video, I appreciate you taking the time to watch, and hopefully you learned something new today. In case you didn't know, I stream full-time over at Twitch. You can catch me there playing a bunch of Killer and Survivor every Saturday through Wednesday starting at 6 p.m. PST. You can find me at twitch.tv/SpookyLoops. Big shout out to my patrons for all the support, and I will catch you all on the next one.